Yes, people, Gully Chris reactions back in this motherfucker. Thoughty too. Thoughty. Thoughty. You're a thought. The 8 most disturbing sounds humanity has ever recorded in history. This better be fucking good. Okay? Because I wasn't so impressed by the last video. Alright? This better be fucking good. This better be fucking good.
Hey, 42 here. We've only been able to record sound for
42.
just over 150
So it's not 42?
In that time, we have done some amazing things with sound.
40.
And captured some amazing historical events. Here's a rundown of some of the creepiest and most chilling sounds ever recorded. Sound recording was invented in 1857 by Edward Leon Scott de Martinville when he created the phonautograph. It was used to create the first ever sound recording, which is believed to be the inventor himself singing Au clair de la lune in 1860. By today's audio standards, it's a very creepy sounding recording, and being over 154 years old is an imperative piece of history. In the early 1960s, a space race was on between the United States and the Soviet Union. The competition between the two nations was fierce, and whoever successfully made it into space first would forever have bragging rights. The American tragedies that ensued as a result of their attempts to reach space are well known. But the Soviet Union's not so much. At that time, many amateur radio enthusiasts were building homebrew radio equipment at their homes that allowed them to listen into space communication frequencies used by the two nations during their voyages. Two brothers in Turin, Italy, named Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia, were way ahead of
Alright, that name is mad long for no reason.
Telecommunications equipment. They were able to tune in to all the Soviet Union's space frequencies and record their transmissions. In May of 1961, the two brothers picked up a transmission from a Soviet space frequency that chilled them to the very core. It was the voice of a female clearly in distress. This is a short clip of
don't tell me it's the same one.
Recording made by the brothers.
It's the same one in the previous video. That's fucking wild.
The woman is speaking in Russian, but when translated, she is saying, "I feel hot. I can see a flame. Am I going to crash? Yes, yes, I will re-enter." And then the transmission cuts out. 3 days after the recording was made, the official Soviet news agency TASS announced a failed re-entry of a satellite the size of a bus. However, the launch had not been previously announced, and the satellite was never mentioned to anyone. To this day, the Soviet Union has never acknowledged the alleged incident, and the identity of the woman still remains completely unknown. At number 3 is a 1922 recording made by Thomas Edison of Harry E. Humphrey. Edison recorded it on his own invention,
Thomas Edison,
the phonograph, which was the very first audio player. The idea was to sell the recording to owners of Edison's phonograph so that they could play it to their children and experience Christmas joy. But it had the opposite effect. In fact, it's just about the most terrifying Christmas message you will ever hear. Here's a short clip from the original recording.
Hello, little folks. Do you know who I am? You've heard of me often. Some say I'm a sham. But most of you know that cannot be true. For every Christmas you see what I do. And now, you not only know just what I do, but you hear my own voice as I'm speaking to you. Who is it, you say? Hush, close all the doors and I'll tell you a secret. I'm old Santa Claus.
The laugh alone
That's
is
evil,
enough
Santa.
to put kids off Father Christmas forever. Saturn as a source of intent radio.
Oh, not
emissions.
again.
In 2002, when the Cassini spacecraft did a flyby of
2002.
Saturn, it recorded these strange radio emissions emanating from Saturn. If you listen closely, you can hear what appears to be an alien voice. It's very hard to make out any words, yet some people believe they have deciphered the message as this. You people are urged to drop the earthly impulse. What do you think? Is it aliens or just gargled space static? Operation Wandering Soul was an attempt by the US military during the Vietnamese War to scare the opposition into submission by playing terrifying sounds through the jungle in the dead of night. It is the Vietnamese belief that the dead must be buried in their homeland, or their soul will wander aimlessly in pain and suffering. Therefore, when they heard the following sound echoing out the depths of the dense jungle, they would have certainly felt a great sense of turmoil and dread.
That sounds like a tortured ghost.
The US militants would often broadcast a sound from loudspeaker systems aboard helicopters. During the Cold War, for over 30 years, the shortwave radio spectrum was used by the world's intelligence agencies to transmit secret messages to their spies who were stationed in enemy countries. These transmissions were called number stations and were completely anonymous one-way radio transmissions across shortwave radio that could be picked up and listened to by anyone using probably very basic radio equipment. Number stations were broadcast 24 hours
You're a
a day
bitch,
on
yo.
very rigid schedules
You're a
by various
pussy.
European
You're a
countries.
fucking pussy.
Broadcasting nothing more than a female or male voice repeating a series of numbers and letters.
The
key
fuck
feature
was
of
that?
broadcast is that the code
Got a fucking
messages
ghost over here
contained
pushing my fucking thing
are
down.
completely unbreakable and can only be understood by the select few
Bitch.
whom are supposed to receive the messages. Despite many attempts, nobody apart from the intended recipients has ever been able to decode a number station message. This is a recording of a British
The
number
fuck?
station transmission.
5, 4, 0. 5, 4, 0. 6, 1. 6, 1. 0, 9, 0, 1, 4.
And this is a German station, known by radio enthusiasts as the Swedish Rhapsody. It uniquely features a really creepy little girl.
Eins, zwei, schädet,
There's a
nein,
particularly
Fuken,
bizarre
Blüchen,
number
Blüchen.
station called the Backwards Music Station, because some believe it sounds like music being played backwards. The signal is believed to be transmitted from both the US
Fucking
and
better not
UK.
fucking fall again.
The difference between this number station and most others is that it never plays any voice messages, just endless, hellish noises.
Terrible.
One would think that number stations would have died out at the end of the Cold War around 1991, but they are still widely used by intelligence agencies today to transmit messages to spies, because shortwave radio still remains a very reliable means of communication. So, if you tune into the right frequency at the right time, you may be able to hear a live broadcast of a real number station. If your image of space is a vast, silent nothingness dotted with weird-looking rocks, you would be half wrong. Space is silent to the human ear, but with the right equipment you can pick up and record vibrations in space. This is exactly what happened when NASA's Voyager spacecraft recorded Jupiter's atmosphere. This is the sound it picked up.
That's actually relaxing as fuck. Fucking ambiance.
It's incredibly eerie to think that
Or
such a
ambient.
sound
Ambient
could be made
noises.
by a
Ambiance.
planet.
Ambience.
It sounds more like an alien tractor beam than a big ball of gas.
It's like
The sound is
ASMR,
actually a
meditation,
result of the complex interaction of
sleepy
charged
music.
electromagnetic particles in the planet's solar wind and magnetosphere. And you thought playing an instrument was complicated. Speaking of space, not all space noises come from planets. In 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope at the Ohio State University picked up a narrowband radio signal from outer space that sounded like this. It was named
That'll wake
the
you up.
WOW signal because the man who first spotted it on the logs circled it in red pen and wrote WOW beside it. But the peculiar thing about the WOW signal is that it came from a location in outer space that contains no planets or galaxies, a seemingly empty area of space. So, how could a signal be transmitted from an area of complete nothingness? Unless it wasn't actually empty. Many people believe the signal came from an alien spacecraft traveling through the vast emptiness of outer space. But to this day, science still can't explain where the signal originated from. Thanks for the view. Subscribe for more 42.
Hey, 42 here. Yo, now we're going to get to the next one. I mean, that video was alright, but hey, 7 things you do that are illegal.
Hey, 42 here. You may be surprised to hear that a lot of things you do that you think are perfectly innocent may, in fact, be illegal. Imagine this scene. You're in a pub with your mates watching the game, and you decide to make a bet on the game's outcome. But if you bet over $2,000, you just broke the law, and it can land you up to 10 years in prison. This actually happened in 2005 when a cop overheard a guy named Sal Kulasi make a bet of over $2,000 in a bar. The next morning, a SWAT team arrived at his doorstep to arrest him and shot him through the heart. Number 2 is connecting to unsecure Wi-Fi networks. Connecting to any wireless network you don't own or have permission to use, even if it isn't password protected, can land you in prison for at least 2 years. And you may have to pay up to at least a $10,000 fine.
Well,
Considering that
I don't
most
wanna do
modern
that.
phones and wireless devices
Unsecured network.
automatically seek out and connect to nearby Wi-Fi networks,
3G.
makes this an extremely easy law to break. It's extremely unlikely you'll actually be caught in the act. Despite this, there have been at least 4 known cases in the US where people have been arrested and locked up for using other people's Wi-Fi. Speaking of the internet, at number 3 is using a fake name online. It may sound stupid, but the next time you sign up to a website under the alias of Super Ninja 66, you've actually broken the law. It's considered illegal under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act to fake your identity online and can net you between 5 and 20 years
Jesus
in prison.
Christ.
At 4 is writing disturbing material. Okay, this doesn't apply everywhere, but in some US states, for example Illinois, it is illegal to write disturbing fiction. It doesn't even matter if you publish it or not. If someone finds disturbing material that you've written and finds it offensive, you could be fined up to $1,500 and spend 30 days in jail. It's even worse in Oklahoma, where you can face up to 10 years in prison for writing a fictional story wherein a person gets injured or killed. At 5 is a peculiar law you've probably broken countless times in your life. In the UK and certain US states, such as Alaska, it is actually illegal to be drunk in a pub or a bar. The law defines being drunk as having lost steady self-control. Although very few people are ever prosecuted for this, in practice the courts use markers such as glazed eyes, slurred speech and unsteadiness to determine if one is properly badgered enough to face charges for being drunk in a pub. Number 6 is a law that you've probably contravened more than any. It is illegal to sing happy birthday in public. Why? Because it's copyrighted. In 1988, Warner Chappell Music purchased the rights to the song for $25 million, meaning restaurants that play the song have to pay royalties to Warner. Collectively, these royalties net Warner a handsome $2 million a year. In 1995, the American Society of Composers, Authors and Publishers tried to extort money from 2,300 Girl Scout groups because they regularly sang Happy Birthday around the campfire without paying royalties. However, the American press released a PR nightmare upon ASCAP, and they quickly backed down once they realised what utter tits they were being. And finally, in
That's
most of
stupid.
the US, it's
You're a
illegal
bitch
to
if you do that.
possess a permanent marker or aerosol can in public if you are under the age of 18. So, if you ever took part in an arts and crafts day as a child, you're technically a hardened criminal. There was a controversial case in 2010 where a 13-year-old Oklahoma City boy was arrested for using a permanent marker in class. The teen was writing on a piece of paper using a permanent marker, and the ink had bled through onto the desk underneath. His teacher actually made a citizen's arrest on the kid, and he was handed over to the police and arrested. Thanks for the view. Subscribe for more. 42.
That teacher's a fucking prick. What a piece of shit. Who the fuck does that? What kind of dumbass shit is that? Like, imagine doing that to some kid that's supposed to know that fucking law. Like, you're fucking dumb. You're a piece of shit. Whoever came up with this stupid shit, you guys need to be arrested. Hopefully, those motherfuckers got slapped the fuck up. I would have slapped the shit out of that motherfucking teacher. And I would have slapped the fucking shit out of the people arresting my kid. Fucking stupid. What kind of fucking law is that? I would have backhanded all of y'all. I get arrested. I don't care. I'd definitely go to jail for that. Smack the shit out of each and every single one of y'all. The fuck is that? Stupid as fuck. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. That was pretty cool. I'll catch y'all later.